It's blocked and grabbed by the Panthers. Down the left sideline, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Davenport. Nick Pulley, the redshirt sophomore from Lansing, takes it in, and the Panthers get their third score advantage.
And with that, we welcome you to the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia. I'm Rick Berkey, the head coach. Sparky McEwen is there. We just heard one of the key plays. There were a number of big plays in Davenport's exciting 55-27 win over William Jewell College at home last Saturday. Davenport moved to 3-0 on the season. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got the special guest, Chris Hughes, the men's soccer coach, is here. And we've also got a special guest, Demetrius Garrett. Will be joining us. Meach, they call him. Meach Garrett will join us as well on the show. We'll talk about his outstanding contributions, even hear a highlight from Meach Garrett a little bit later on. But, Coach, you built up a 21-point lead, 28-7. Then credit to the Cardinals. They came back with 20 unanswered to make it a one-point game, and then you pulled away and eventually got that comfort level you wanted and pulled away to your third win in as many tries.
Man, we make it tough. We make it tough. Wow. You know, we talk about that as a team is that, guys, we can make this a little easier, on everyone, the fans, the coaches, administration. But, all kidding aside, it's one of those deals where these kids are pretty resilient. They never quit. They understand and respect their opponents that the games are going to be tough. And we're not making, we're not turning the ball over. And that's the positive thing. We had our first of the year, but, there's teams out there that have turned it over quite a bit. So we're taking
you're plus 7 for the year.
Yeah, and we're taking it away. So that's a big plus. And we're getting better. We're getting better every week, and we're getting healthier. We're getting people back from a tough camp that we ran. So I'm excited about, this coming week and just the future period.
And the thing that I know that had to be satisfying to you and the rest of the staff is, you hear this sometimes used as an expression, but it was truly a case Saturday. All three aspects, offense, defense, special teams, stepped up big time at different times.
In all three games this year, we truly felt like that we've been successful in all three areas, whether it's special teams, offense, defense, and that's important. We put a lot of value into how successful we can be in the special teams department, and we've always felt that the better teams in the GLIAC, they really play well in all three phases of the game, and we've been fortunate enough this year. Coach Walker, he runs our special teams. He does a tremendous job, takes a lot of pride in trying to get the right personnel out there, so we can have success. So, so far it's been good, but as you know from the past, it always doesn't work out that way.
We have to bring up the penalties. Again, you're now over 315 yards on the season, but you've said before on this show that there are different penalties, different kinds of penalties. Some are, just a little over effort. Some are just not using your head. How did this game, even though it had a ton of penalties rack up, compared to the other ones? Are you still scratching your head on some?
After the first week we had all those penalties, I guess the second week we took it off, and we weren't as bad, but once again, we just had 130 yards in penalties, and you can't have it. And, some of those calls that are made, I didn't think they were, appropriate calls. It is what it is. But, our players are aware. We talk about it. The discipline penalties are the ones that, we can't tolerate. And our guys understand that if we continue those type of penalties, that we're going to end up paying for it down the road.
Especially now you're getting into GLIAC play where those mistakes will be more costly. You're going on the road for the opener at Michigan Tech this Saturday afternoon. So, now they've committed a fair amount of penalties also this year, but when you go on the road in the GLIAC, sometimes you get caught for things that maybe you wouldn't get caught as often at home.
You do. And, we talked about it as a team that we're going to have to be on our best, especially playing against a quality team opponent as the Huskies, and our guys are aware, so as long as our guys are aware and they still go out there and play hard, play tough, because I never want to take that edge away from.
There's a fine line there.
Yeah, there's a fine line, and we fly around. Let's make no bones about it. Now we get after it, and I'd rather those guys get out there, play loose, play freely, And every now and then you'll have a penalty here or there, but it's the undisciplined penalties that, I can't stand.
Well, the awards department certainly recognized the Panthers' fine effort on Saturday as they won not one, but two different GLIAC Player of the Week honors. Myron Harris was the Offensive Player of the Week, and Gimonte Peck was the Defensive Player of the Week from Saturday. Myron had a fantastic game. Redshirt junior rushed for over 100 yards for the second straight game in the win. He carried 12 times for 129 yards. He threw a halfback option pass for a touchdown. Just when you thought he'd done it all, he wasn't done quite yet.
There's a handoff up the middle. Big hole. This is hard not to the left side. Down to Myron Harris to the 50. 45-40. Myron Harris 35-30. Harris 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Myron Harris from 75 yards. Marvelous. Myron takes it the distance. He threw for one earlier in this half. He runs one in from 75 here, and Davenport takes full command again.
Big play there that really gave you some breathing room.
It did. We needed that. This year, part of our struggles has been we've gotten this whole deal where we'll go 3 and out, and, it happens for 2 or 3 series in a row, and each week we've had somebody show up big and make a big play for us. And so it was needed. Would I love to see us on a 10-play, 11-play, 6-minute drive? Absolutely. But, we've accepted the fact of who we are, okay? We have the ability to make big plays, and just like this game here, I think it was 3 consecutive plays where we scored touchdowns.
And the halfback option pass that he threw for a touchdown, that was a big momentum shift for you in that one. Is that something that you maybe saw potential on film, or did that just come up as the game played itself out?
Well, I thought Devin did a good job of calling it at a timely time because, he was struggling to move the ball. And, I think that's good coaching. I think Coach, had to figure out a way to get a quick score in there. And, man, he dialed one up, and it was beautiful. It was executed. If you take a look at the play, wow, what a heck of a throw. He was running left, and he threw that ball back across his body. Perfect spiral. It was short, but it was a perfect spiral. And obviously Preston, that's what he does, makes big plays. Makes the catch, secures the catch, and backs into the end zone. And
he sold the play really well.
Yeah, he did.
He took that and he made it look like a run.
I thought it was going to be a run.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a run, and it worked out. It worked out, and I was very, very pleased with it. That's our second non-traditional touchdown play to pull out of our actually, we tried another one, and it just didn't work. But this one worked, so I'm happy about that.
Also, defensive lineman Gimonte Peck was forced on the defensive line, winning the GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week. He had 5 tackles, including 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, and 4 quarterback hurries. And maybe the casual fan doesn't understand the importance. They understand a sack and a tackle for loss. How important the hurries are, though.
Huge. And that stat line you just read, wow, that was an amazing game, afternoon for him there at Farmers. And when you get those quarterback hurries like that, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. You're putting pressure on their guy, making them have to get rid of the ball sooner than he would like. And, man, he's a force for us. We've got to keep him healthy because you've got to get help with him. He's a very good football player.
What was the mood in the locker room Saturday after the game? I mean, they're happy they won, but sometimes you can tell more from the players' reactions sometimes of how they felt about it.
Well, Club Panther is a place, Rick, you're going to have to stop by after a big victory. Club Panther is it goes down there, okay?
I can hear it in the press box, what's going on down below, 3 levels below.
We've got the music going. They got the strobe light, and we have a really good time because our kids know you want to enjoy the wins, man, because it's hard to win. It's so hard to win, and this conference is so tough. And my whole deal is, the kids have to see a different side of you as well as a coach. And you have a stressful work week, and then all of a sudden you get a big win. Let's go ahead and enjoy it and have some fun.
All right, we're going to let you go grab some of this Uccello soup. Before you do, though, I want to give your reaction a little bit on Demetrius Garrett. They call him Meach. He's going to be joining us a little bit later in the show. What he meant to your program. He had a huge punt return for touchdown, which we'll hear a little bit later on in the program. But tell us a little bit about Meach.
Amazing young man. Amazing young man. He's a transfer from Eastern Illinois, and we got him as a redshirt freshman. And, you remember him last year. He played a nice role for us last year. And, we're getting him back. We were just getting him back last game. And thankfully, everything worked out for him, man. He's healthy. He's ready to roll. And he actually stepped into that position to run that thing back after the first punt return that was taken back. A guy took a helmet to the thigh. And so
I wondered, he ran it back, and then we didn't see him again.
Yeah.
He got hurt.
He got hurt, and then Meach took over, and it was a great way to welcome him back. And I'm excited for him because he's one of the hardest working guys that we have on the team, and we just got better. Getting him back, we just got better as a football team. And what a class, young man. And it was our Panther Award. The Panther Award is something that embodies the good spirit of coaching and what we look for in our student athletes.
All right, well, we'll talk with him later. First, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little soccer here. As men's soccer coach Chris Hughes joins us.
The legendary.
Whoa, the legendary.
The legendary Chris
All right,
Hughes.
Chris is here. We're going to talk with Chris, and we'll continue with the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia here on DUPanthers.com and YouTube. And we continue with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Stop out here anytime. They have great food, great service, and it's a great atmosphere here. We got about 55 large screen TVs to enjoy sports, football, basketball, and we're getting in the baseball playoffs soon too. You want to be a part of that here. We're going to shift over to soccer, though. Men's soccer coach, 12th year heading up the program. Chris Hughes joins us right now. And, Coach, always a pleasure to see you here. I know you're off in your season, 2 wins, 2 losses, 3 ties. Evaluate how you feel about the practice, the squad so far.
You know what? We've got a good group. We've got a new group. We brought back some good core from last year, but we needed to bring in some depth, some maturity. I think we've done that in the back line. And keeper core, I think, is doing what they need to do. I think we're finding some good success recently, and we're competing. We came out of the gates tying 2 teams that were in the top 15 in the nation. So I always like to compete right out of the gates with those without the best in the nation, and we were able to get some results, which is important. And now we're in the GLIAC, and it is absolutely crazy. I'm not sure who the number 1 team in the league is, but we're going for it. We're going for it.
Chris, I want to ask you, other coaches I heard talk about this. You go to scout a player, like we're talking about bringing players in, a transfer in from another school, and you can see them in person, you can see them on tape, you can measure their skills, maybe get a feel for their heart. How do you measure compatibility, how they're going to fit in with your core group, when you're watching them?
Yeah, that's tough. It's not easy, right? First of all, you got to figure out the academic piece, and then can they play here? Then it's, do they fit the culture, right? And through many, many conversations, you slowly figure that piece out. But it comes through many conversations, whether that's Zoom, whether that's FaceTime, whether that's the verbal through a phone, email. I watch that very, very closely. And some you crash and burn on, for sure. You're not always successful on everyone. But I'll tell you, this group this year, they're tight, they're having a hoot, and we got some massive games this weekend.
All right, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's talk about some of those players. Senior Owen Bragan, if I'm getting it correctly, 3 goals and 6 points for you.
He's been a true blessing to the squad since he got here. I remember my first conversation with him many years ago, 5-6 years ago now, and what a true captain, what an absolute warrior. A whistle blows, and by the time the second whistle blows at the end of the game, he is absolutely spent. But true leader, true warrior, is really mentoring the young ones well, and proud of him. It's a blessing to have him.
One of those youngs, you mentioned a transfer, sophomore, Vitalis Takawira. He's got 3 goals for you also.
Special. He is special. I'm glad he's playing for us and not our opponents. He just has a magic. He's one of those players that can just go to that next level that very few others can. So we're putting him in a pretty neat role this year where he's going to be doing a lot of mentoring in his own way, right? We're trying to get him to think outside that box, that comfort zone, and see how far we can push him by mentoring those around him. And so far, there's some pretty neat pieces, but I think there's a bunch of magic coming up down the road, too.
One of your young people coming on, sophomore Andrew Dykstra.
You know, Andrew, last year, it was a learning year for him, right? He sat behind Matthew Whelan, which tore up the league last year and in years previous, and so Andrew had to kind of figure it out, and so far this year, his growth has been huge. How he went at the Saginaw defense the other day, a couple days ago in our game, was just beautiful to watch. And he's still a baby yet, you know, just figuring the game out. But he's going to be one in the league that everybody will need to watch out.
You mentioned you started out the season with some top-notch competition, a couple of national ranked teams, Maryville, Missouri, and Illinois Springfield, and you got 2 ties to start out. That was a good sign for you, I thought. It
was a great weekend. You know, we did a ton of team bonding. We did a ton of hanging out as a squad, and I think we were down 4 or 5 days down to St. Louis in the Springfield, Illinois area, and we grew massively during that time. And it was important for us to do that, right? Last year we were at home for our first couple games, and that's always special too. But going away, boy, you need that team bonding, and we had a ton of fun. We had great food, great hotels, and we got some neat results because those teams are, I think, I looked at the polls today, they're still of the best in the nation.
Well, you mentioned this weekend you get back into GLIAC and some really good games coming up. Purdue Northwest Friday at 4 o'clock at Davenport, and then Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, Wisconsin Parkside. And you've had some good matches between those two clubs.
Oh, I can't wait. You know, Purdue Northwest is on fire out of the gates this year. I think their first loss was just the other day. They went 3-0-3 coming out of the gates, and they actually lost to St. Cloud State 1-0. But we expect a massive game from them. We have incredible history with them back in the NAIA when we were in the league together, yes. And they came and we came, and so it's wonderful, friendly competition. And Parkside, that's an all-out war. They're a great team. You know, I think they're sitting at the top of the league right now. And but we're looking for results. We're looking for results this weekend. So come on out. Love to have you.
All right, Chris. Yeah, I would say tell the fans what kind of team they can expect from your squad if they come out to watch this weekend, either Friday or Sunday afternoon.
You know, we're always going to have a competitive squad. So whether you know our game of football or not, you're going to see a bunch of boys just fighting for each other, fighting for the school, fighting for the red and black, and they love each other. And that's the neat piece. And from that, magic happens. So love to have you out 4 o'clock on Friday and or Sunday at 2 p.m.
All right, Chris, always a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you, kind friend.
Go have some food.
Hey, we will.
All right, we'll do that. We'll take a break, come back, and visiting a special guest, a player joins us from the Davenport team as we talk the Davenport football program here on the Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Garrett standing near. Garrett back there standing at his own 30-yard line. Paul Galen, who's punted well, takes the snap. Don't rough him. They're going anywhere near him. Nice kick. Garrett takes it, and then he bobbles it, picks it back up, gets by one man to the 35. Demetrius Garrett, 45-50. Demetrius Garrett down to the left sideline, 45-40. Garrett to the 35-30. Garrett to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Davenport! Demetrius Garrett houses it and gives Davenport a 2-score lead.
And with that, we welcome Demetrius Garrett to the table as Davenport certainly needed his excellence there on that excellent punt return for a touchdown. And Meach, they call you Meach. Where did that come to? Did you get that program or that nickname here, or was that from a long time ago?
Yeah, it's a childhood nickname, so I kind of brought it from.
Who gave it to you? The family give it to you, or
yeah,
a friend?
It's a family name.
All right, okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about that punt return. That certainly was exciting. You made it especially exciting when you bobbled it at first. That wasn't part of the plan, was it?
No, definitely wasn't part of the plan.
But what are your thoughts when you? That's got to be one of the hardest things for a punt returner, is deciding when to fair catch it and when to go ahead and take a chance, because they're coming at you, from 5 different directions.
Right. So during that time, when I fumbled it, I got to give credit to the other 10 guys on the field. They picked up some key blocks to even allow me to pick it up and continue running. So I can't take all the credit there. It's the other 10 guys on the field that made that happen for me to return it.
You're a redshirt junior from Michigan City, Indiana. Tell us about your high school days, your program when you played, at high school, and how that prepared you to be a college football player.
Right. So my first 2 years, we really didn't do good. Really wasn't a winning program. Lost a lot of games. And then the last 2 years, we really flipped the switch. I realized a lot from a life standpoint as a football player. So I think it helped me a lot in college.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that life experience. Maybe tell us one person maybe that back in your high school days that was instrumental in you becoming not just the player you are, but the person you are today. Who would that be?
Right. I would have to give that credit to my mother. She made sure that outside of football, I was taking care of everything like grades. Just make sure I'm doing everything, do all the little things right.
Your folks still live back in Indiana?
Yes.
All right, so they get a chance to come up and see you play?
Right,
I bet they enjoyed that punt return, didn't they?
No, they definitely did. Made their day.
All right, a sport management major. What are you thinking about maybe doing with that whenever your football days are done, or is there something else you'd maybe like to think about doing after school?
Now I realize I want to be like an athletic trainer. I want to be hands-on. I always want
a trainer.
I want to stay around sports, even outside when I'm done playing. So athletic trainer is kind of the direction I want to go to.
Well, you got a great opportunity to learn. We've got a great training staff right here at Davenport to learn from as well. Let's talk a little bit about this team, Demetrius. Again, 3-0. You can't be better in the win-loss column, and yet there's room for improvement across the board.
Yes, sir. I think the biggest thing is we just need to lock in as one. Come together. We know what we need to do. It's just all about getting it done, executing everything to 100%.
How about you yourself? Where do you have to get better as a player?
As a player, I feel like I need to bring the guys in my receiver room along with me. Set an example. Do whatever I can to make sure they're giving 100% during practice or whenever they need the upbringing. Just bringing somebody along with me.
How do you deal with, I'd ask this if any of your receivers, because you've got a deep set of retrievers in that locker room.
Yes, sir.
So there's only one ball that can go around. So,
right.
How do you deal with not getting down if you're not getting the ball?
I think everybody has the understanding of who they are, of who we are. We know we have a pretty good receiving core. And the main thing is no one's selfish in our receiving room. We all want each other to go out there and make plays. So it's really, we really motivate each other.
Meach, tell us about what you like to do when you're away from school, away from football. What do you do just for your own personal enjoyment?
Really, I just hang around the guys on the team. If I'm not doing that, man, I'm just in my room chilling on the game. I really don't do too much. I'm a low-key type of guy.
Who are your roommates?
My roommate is AJ and Micah. They both play receiver, number 6 and 86.
So you guys get to go over film and stuff at home together?
Yeah, of course. We watch that all the time with each other.
That's great. Well, great. Doing a great job. We look forward to more big things from number 17, Demetrius Meach Garrett, and keep up the good work, bud.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll take a break, come back, bring Coach Sparky back as we conclude and talk about this week's game as Davenport tries to make it 4-0 and just as importantly, 1-0 in GLIAC play when they go up to Michigan Tech this weekend. Stay with us.
All right.
Final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show here. Davenport getting ready to head up to the UP to take on Michigan Tech in Houghton. Coach Sparky McEwen comes back to join us, and I don't know that I don't know how many of the experts looked at this and thought we'd have a pair of 3-0 teams going against each other, but you did your job, they did their job, and they're 3-0. Nice ball club up in Houghton.
He's doing a great job. You know, it's his first year coaching the team as a head coach, but he's been around for some time. He was a quarterback there, and he's got the attention of the players, and the players are executing for him. And you know, they do things the right way. And man, this is your welcome to the GLIAC, right?
Yeah,
you got to make the trip up there.
And they always play rugged football at Tech, and the stats are remarkably similar. They're scoring 34.5 points a game. You're scoring 36. They're giving up 24 a game. You're giving up 21. So on paper, which you're not going to play on paper, but it looks pretty even.
It does. We took a look at that early, you know, as well. And honestly, there's a lot of similarities outside of that stuff too. They like to throw the ball. We like to throw the ball, and they've got a running back number 4. We got a running back number 4. You know, that are pretty good, and
they throw for 240 yards a game and rush for 142. Not far from your averages.
Yeah, you know, and we play good defense. They play good defense, and all those numbers tell you that this is going to be a great game. And you know, last year we had the ball bounce our way a little bit, and it was kind of a breakout for us. You know, so but we got down early, 17-0, if you recall. And to the boys' credit, they fought back, and we're always going to fight hard, so.
And every game counts, but that game last year, I think, coming back from 17-0 especially, was really one of the key games of the season for you.
It was. That game was very key, and one thing I could tell you about Tech, they're always going to play you tough. Win, lose, draw, whatever, they're always going to be tough. And so our players understand it, and that's a tough trip. That's a tough trip to make and go and have success. So
going up on Friday?
One of those days.
Friday,
It seems like it's going to be – I mean, it goes on and on and on, when it's time to play Tech and, depending on the day that you go. But – this will be, once again, as advertised, a great game. So, listeners, eyeballs, this is going to be one that you're going to want to watch, because there's a lot of things going on both sides of the ball that you're going to want to stay tuned.
All right, and if you want to hear my broadcast, you got to go to dupanthers.com or iHeartMedia in Grand Rapids. You can tune in on iHeartMedia to hear it. Or dupanthers.com. You can listen for free at dupanthers.com. Go to the football schedule, click on the listen. There's no charge to listen. Again, we have to say this each time because we get new parents, new family, new girlfriends following the team. Don't realize if you pull up the video that's supplied by Tech, you'll get the video, but you won't hear our broadcast. And we are a little bit more partial to your squad.
Just
Coach.
a little. Just
a little. Well, all right, give us a couple keys to Saturday's game based on what you know right now.
The keys, we're going to have to contain the passing game of the Huskies. They're showing a lot of success there. Their run game, right now, it's always a tough run game. They're able to keep away with the ball, and we're going to have to limit, the number of long drives that they potentially can go on. On offense, we're going to have to protect our passer. They do a really good job of getting after the passer. And then, the other thing that we're going to have to do, that we've done a good job so far is take care of the football. And if we could take care of the football, I think that, we'll be a much more formidable opponent, for the Huskies, because this is a good team, and we're going up and playing in their backyard, and they do a good job there. And the crowd is going to be outstanding. I think it's homecoming, so our boys are going to have to take it to another level if they expect to go up there and get a victory.
And weather forecast is encouraging. It looks like good weather. We played up there, I think it might have been your first trip up there when it started out sunny and 60, and by the fourth quarter, it was snowing sideways.
We saw Four Seasons that game. I remember that.
We do. That was fantastic. All right, Coach, best of luck. Again, 1 o'clock kickoff from Houghton. And, again, you can listen to our broadcast on dupanthers.com or iHeartMedia in Grand Rapids. About 12:45 we'll start the pregame show. Sparky and I will be at that game and talk about our next home game 2 weeks from today. So until next time, for Coach Sparky McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying, go Panthers.